Hey guys, and welcome to the video. We're going to be discussing 5 fixes that could be applied to Marvel in order to save the declining MCU. So let's dive into this Marvel news. But before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and stay up to date with all the movie news we have going on around here, guys. So guys, we're going to take a look at this article here from comicbookmovie.com. 5 steps Marvel Studios must take to save the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Disney Plus TV shows. So, Marvel Studios is about to make some major changes to its Disney Plus TV shows, and we're taking a look at more essential steps they should take to save the Marvel Cinematic Universe's streaming offerings. Yeah, guys, so it's no sort of hidden news that Marvel has kind of been on a decline lately, which kind of sucks because obviously the earlier phases of the MCU were absolutely incredible. They were amazing to watch. And it seems that after Endgame, the quality has just started to decline. They've put out so much material so quickly. And obviously Kevin Feige can't control everything that's going on. And it looks like the quality has suffered a little bit. And it's sort of undeniable that some of their streaming shows haven't been that well received. But anyway, guys, let's jump into this article and see if we can learn a little bit more information about what's going on with Marvel Studios and the steps we can take to fix it. So yesterday, a bombshell report revealed Marvel Studios has gone back to the drawing board with Daredevil Born Again, and will now start from scratch after shooting nearly half of the show's first season. A few scenes and ideas will remain, but it sounds like much of what was shot will be left on the cutting room floor. Yeah, guys, I made an entire video about this and uploaded it yesterday. I'll put the link at the top of the screen. You can see here flashing up now. Click on that and it will take you over to the video that I made about the Daredevil Born Again basically being taken back to the drawing board and being remade effectively. So the same piece revealed Marvel Studios plans to hire proper showrunners, stop shooting big budget TV shows the way they do movies, later fixing them in post-production, and swap splashy event series for more traditional multi-season small screen offerings. Yeah, this is the thing that they've done wrong, guys. So they've tried to approach their TV shows in the same way they approach their movies. They've not had any, proper showrunners that have been on board for these shows. And, that's what you need to make sure a show runs efficiently, to make sure the production process is, efficient. Having one person who's in charge of the show, who everyone reports to, makes it more efficient, makes it run smoother. And, we don't have any of these crazy events that's going on with like the Daredevil Born Again show. So it's clear the studio is also changing its approach to the MCU's place on Disney Plus after what's proven to be a steep learning curve. That's not a bad thing. A lot we've seen from them on the streamer has been fantastic, albeit far from perfect. Absolutely true. But we have a few more suggestions on how to fix future TV shows. Find out what we think about Marvel Studios needs to do in the wake of Daredevil Born Again's creative reboot by clicking next on the button below. Not sure what that means, but anyway, guys. So yeah, here's the 5 steps, kind of breaking down what Marvel could do in order to fix their shows to make them run better. And let's have a little dive in and see what this article says about these 5 steps. And let's see if we agree with it or disagree with it, or if there's anything that we can add to it. So, following the Netflix model to some extent, yeah, I mean, some of the Netflix shows, they ran amazingly well. For example, let's look at Daredevil again. The 3 seasons of Daredevil, kind of universally beloved. You won't find many people that will disagree, saying that the show was really incredibly well received. One of the most popular Marvel shows. And it looks like they're retooling the Daredevil Born Again show back to more in line what it was with the Netflix show. So Marvel Television got an awful lot wrong, but they initially approached those Netflix TV shows in a smart way. From the beginning, the decision was made to introduce Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist in individual series before uniting them in The Defenders. In the end, it was all a bit disappointing, but Marvel Studios could follow a similar model in a more effective manner, essentially recreating the MCU on streaming rather than using these shows as a launching platform for characters whose stories then continue in movies. Several have been guilty of being glorified prequels. Absolutely. This is the thing that a lot of people have accused, Marvel of doing recently. A film comes out and it seems like the only purpose of a film is to set up what's coming in the future, rather than actually focusing on the quality of the film that you're watching and having it as a good standalone film that's quality and has a good script. It feels like you watch the film and the only purpose of the film is to sort of set up what's coming in the future. So you're kind of degrading the quality of what the viewers are watching in the hopes that you can build on something that's happening in the future, and it's not a good way to go. So why not focus on specific characters and build to an event series? Like the Infinity Saga. Certain shows would be more important than others, and we'd still like to see some crossovers between film and television. However, with a specific plan in place, these projects would feel impactful and intriguing, as what we're seeing from Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni's Star Wars offerings. Yeah, like they did with the CW show, where they had Arrow, they had Supergirl, they had Black Lightning, they had The Flash, and they had all these different TV shows on CW, superhero shows, and then they did these really, really fun crossover events, where The Flash would show up and, Supergirl and the Arrow, they would all do a crossover, and they'd have a big crossover event. Then they would all go back to their individual series, and then in a couple of years they'd have another crossover event, and it was super fun. And I don't know why Marvel doesn't do something like that on Disney Plus. You have all these fantastic individual shows for all the individual characters, and then they can cross over into special events, or they can go into the movies and cross over in special events and then come back to their shows. And yeah, that's definitely what they need to do. Have these kind of really cool crossover events that will get people watching, people excited for what's going on. So, on to the next step, number 4. Okay, so not every character needs a TV show. Marvel Studios was either forced by former Disney CEO Bob Chapek to develop as much streaming content as possible, or have been given too much rope only too well. The fact is, not every character needs to be showcased in a TV series, and that's evident from how much some shows have struggled. Yeah, this is the thing, guys. So you've got characters who lend themselves more to a supporting role, or they support a main character. You've got Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I would say that Falcon is more of a support character. You wouldn't necessarily have, well, they did have a Falcon and Winter Soldier show, but a Falcon character, he supports Steve Rogers, Captain America. And you have other characters, you wouldn't have a standalone, Rocket Raccoon series, because Rocket Raccoon, he's more of a support character. He goes along with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And is he a strong enough character to support his own show? Probably not. But that's the kind of thing we're talking about, guys. So Miss Marvel, for example, was a lot of fun, but got bogged down in the middle of its chapters thanks to underwhelming villains. Why not just introduce Kamala Khan in the Marvels? Does Agatha Harkness need a 6-hour TV series? Not really. It's we've seen WandaVision. Agatha Harkness is going to be a pretty similar, if not the same kind of show. It's we've already seen it. We don't need to really see another witch doing witchy stuff. We've already seen it. So they should move on to a character that's fresh, different, that we haven't seen before. Does Ironheart? No, I don't think anyone cares about Ironheart. I don't hear anyone talking about Ironheart. I don't hear anyone excited about it, asking where it is, what it's about. Yeah, there's no buzz for that show whatsoever. Nick Fury certainly didn't, and we're still not sure what Moon Knight accomplished. Moon Knight, in my opinion, is one of the biggest tragedies of, the Disney streaming shows, because Moon Knight is an incredible character. I mean, he looked fantastic. His costume looked great, but his show was just a little bit underwhelming. I don't think they give him that much to do, and it could have been great. And I'm really looking forward to still seeing Moon Knight appear on the big screen at some point. It's time to be more selective and avoid the mistake Marvel Television made when the spotlight shifted to the likes of The Runaways, Cloak and Dagger, and Damien Hellstorm. Team-ups might be a better option moving forward, with slightly more reserved approach to what feels like endless introductions. Between the TV shows and Phase 4's endless movie cameos, there are simply too many heroes who have shown up only to never be seen again. Eternals who? Yeah, like I say, guys, there's supporting characters, there's mainline characters, there's supporting characters. Just because a supporting character, they're not popular enough to get their own show, but they're still important to the MCU. They're still important to support other main characters. People still want to see them, but they may not be popular enough to support an entire sort of 6-hour TV show. So just bear that in mind. Better communication between film and TV creative teams. One of the most infuriating things about being an MCU fan during the multiverse saga has been the obvious lack of continuity and connectivity between the movies and TV shows. Not everything in the Infinity Saga neatly linked up, and that's fine, but these past few years have been nothing if not messy. Yeah, guys, one of the biggest complaints about the latest phase of the MCU is that there seems to be no clear direction on where we're going. Who's the big bad we're setting up? What's the overarching story plot that we're following? Where do all these shows fit in the timeline? What's going on? And people are still confused to this point, where we're going in the future. It looks like Kang's going to be the big setup. But then again, Jonathan Majors, who plays Kang, obviously he's in and out of court based on, controversy and things that happen with him. So whether he will continue playing the role going forward, that's another big thing that we don't know if it's going to happen yet. So Sam Raimi hadn't even watched WandaVision while making Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. That's absolutely insane. How can you have a director make an MCU show who hasn't seen the other MCU movies or shows? How would he know how to make his show and how to link it? And yeah, that's just crazy. Perhaps explaining why the Scarlet Witch felt like a totally different character. The Marvels isn't expected to reference Secret Invasion, and we've seen some pretty big contradictions in terms of how the multiverse works. It will have taken Loki's TVA 3 years to show up elsewhere by the time Deadpool 3 is released. We expect better from Marvel Studios. Clash in production schedules and apparent lack of planning can be blamed for these missteps, but with fewer TV shows now heading to Disney+, we're optimistic things will slowly start to change. It definitely seems that things are changing. I mean, just this whole Daredevil Born Again thing, the fact that they fired the writers, they fired the directors, they caught it while it was at a relatively early stage, and Kevin Feige basically said, nope, I'm not going to put it out. If it's not good enough, it's not going out. We're not just going to throw it at the wall and make sure it sticks. People deserve the quality that the MCU is known for, and it's great that he's done that. Hopefully that happens with other TV shows as well when they start filming them. If it's not good enough, they don't put it out. So, number 2, stop following the same formula. Exactly. People are getting tired of the same cookie cutter approach, generic movies, the bad guy shows up in one film, gets defeated, blah, blah, blah. The character goes through like they become the character. It's a following of age kind of storyline. They become the character and they learn how to, be the character, and then they defeat the villain, and then you never see the villain again. And, we've seen it 100 times now. It's recently been revealed that Marvel Studios has been handling its TV shows like movies, shooting them entirely and then attempting to figure out what didn't work in post. That seems like a really bad idea. However, as they've since learned, what works for a 2-hour motion picture doesn't quite have the same effect on multi-episode drama. We're not sure if this is connected, but a recurring thread through almost all of these small screen projects is a formulaic approach to storytelling that sees the title character only suit up in the finale. That's the dumbest thing. Why would you have a character and then only suit up in the finale? I don't get that. WandaVision, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, and She-Hulk Attorney at Law are all guilty of this to varying degrees. Even Secret Invasion kept us waiting for the Super Skrull until the finale. Why couldn't we have 6 episodes of Miss Marvel protecting New Jersey as a superhero? Did we really need to wait until the final episode to see Sam Wilson embrace being Captain America? I guess it's the finale, so they want to save like a big pop to the end, because you got to remember, when people watch the last episode of something, they go away with that fresh in their mind, and then that's what they kind of think of the series when they leave. So you kind of need that big pop at the end, I guess, because that's what people have in their mind when they finish the show. So focus on the A-listers mostly. It's been enjoyable to meet lesser known characters on Disney+, and we certainly don't want that to stop. However, an argument could also be made that these shows have been at their best when focusing on heroes we're used to seeing in theaters. Yeah, I think that's what they did to a point. We had Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye, and then we introduced the side character here, which name is eluding me at the moment, Kate Bishop. I had to really search my brain for that. Yeah, so they introduced Kate Bishop, obviously, as a sort of assistant to Hawkeye, which is a good way to introduce her. She's a great character. I think she's going to be a big star in the MCU in the next few years. That's why the likes of WandaVision, Loki, and Hawkeye felt like a big deal. With those shows furthered the stories of Wanda Maximoff, the God of Mischief, and Clint Barton, ensuring they are arguably more memorable than She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, and Moon Knight. Yeah, they were definitely, say what you want about the Hawkeye show. The Hawkeye show wasn't the best show, but it was more memorable than bloody She-Hulk, twerking She-Hulk. That was awful. And Moon Knight, the plots were just bad. That also helped those lesser-known heroes, Kate Bishop and Monica Rambeau, clearly benefiting from the A-list rub. Would they have fared as well if they had been left to headline their own shows? It would have been disastrous if they did that. There's a balance to be found, but expanding on the characters we see in the movies still feels like the best way to make these TV shows mean something. Yeah, guys, so I think that's everything. We got some comments on the article, so let's have a look at the comments and see what people are saying, see if anybody can add anything to this. So, better writing and character development. Well, absolutely. It goes along with the script as well. You need a better character arc. We need to see the reasons why the character changes and the kind of evolution they go through. I believe it had to do with visuals. Avatar didn't have that, and it made over $1 billion. I don't get it. I believe it had to do with the visuals and it being a 3D film. Yeah, Avatar's just a money maker. Not a terrible list. I agree with some and disagree with others. But I think the most important thing is getting the writing and script down first. Absolutely. The most important thing is the script. If you don't have a good script, everything else falls apart. You can have the best CGI, the best costumes, the best set pieces. But if your script is bad and the dialogue is bad, then you're just going to lose people. and moving forward from a strong foundation. But this is just the beginning. There are a lot of things that need to be changed. Yeah, the thing is, we need to remember as well, guys, streaming is relatively new. I mean, Disney Plus has only been around for what, 3 years now? 3 or 4 years? So streaming is completely new. These massive studios are still figuring out the streaming game. They're still trying to figure out ways to make better shows. Their streaming content, whether to release the show all in one go or release it weekly. They're still experimenting with a lot of things because streaming is still relatively new. Blah, blah, blah. If we've got any other comments. How about you hire good writers who aren't zealots for their woke religion and who aren't diversity hires? People who earn their job on merit regardless of their ethnicity and orientation or gender. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that's kind of where we are, guys. So that's just kind of 5 small steps there that we can look at Marvel possibly taking to improve their Disney Plus TV shows. We can apply it to their movies as well. But yeah, guys, if you have anything that you would like to add to this list that you think that they could do to improve their shows or movies, as we've seen it in decline recently, which is, unfortunately sad, let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I will see you soon.